Great, then I will, that seems like my cue to go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and what I'm going to be sharing with everybody is what we did send home to everyone. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to actually change my own order. I wanted to ask Dr. Laura Owens, who's joined us, if I could ask Dr. Owens just really quickly, just to kind of give everybody an update about COVID and the policies we put in place, which we also did send home to everybody as part of that email yesterday. Thank you, Dr. Owens, for joining us. If you could kind of just share with everybody about where we are COVID-wise, that would be great.
Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't have anything prepared. I thought we were questions, but yeah. So we're overall in the community in a better place. Numbers are significantly down. We're certainly keeping our eye on the Delta variant, though we've seen that the vaccine has provided really good coverage for that new variant as well. So if you're vaccinated, that's an excellent thing, and if you're not, we'll keep working on that and recommending that. We got a lot of people that are vaccinated and really anxious to see kind of how things are going for pediatric folks and how the studies are coming out with vaccines available now for 12 and up. And I'm hopeful that maybe by the time this fall hits, we'll have more information about younger populations and potential vaccine availability then for our under 12 folks. So given that we have, a lot of vaccination in our staff and the students that are able, and the numbers have been looking better, we've just adjusted our policies just to continue to keep everyone safe, but to kind of maintain the right level of safety for what we're seeing. So we've kind of backed away from doing as much standard testing, really using that only if we have concerns or need to. We're continuing the masking policy for staff and for students that are able, certainly when in enclosed spaces, to kind of help keep everyone safe, knowing that not everyone is able to be vaccinated yet, and maintaining the distances that we can, getting outside and enjoying the fresh air that we can. Sorry, someone's eating chicken nuggets here, so if you hear background noise, that's him. Say hi. So I have a guest star, sorry. if you heard the yums in the background. So yeah, and obviously this is something we've been reevaluating all the time, making sure that we're doing the right amount, maintaining really high safety and standards for everyone, to keep COVID out of our building. But we felt really comfortable and confident in being able to kind of pull back on the testing and the screening. We'll still be asking questions and making sure that everyone's kind of, I think at this point, we all internalize the, if I'm not feeling well, I'm not going anywhere, and checking in. So I don't know if there are any specific questions, or Tom, if I missed anything on that as far as changes or.
No, and I think this is such an intimate group. Please, I would invite anybody who would like to put a question in the chat. I'm going to just go through. Obviously this isn't just about COVID. This is really about the schedule that we've sent home. So I'm just going to go through that document that we sent home to everybody. But as questions come up, whether they're COVID related with Dr. Owens here, or about scheduling, everybody who's on the call has been part of all those conversations. We can kind of answer any questions that you have, because my big message in talking about this is that we've been meeting about just ESY for about 2 months now, and we're all really excited for Wednesday to have the building back, to being really vibrant and what we've been used to and have been missing for the last 18 months. So I'm just going to kind of, now I am going to share my screen. Hopefully I do it effectively. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. So basically this is what was sent home along with the COVID guidelines is, the structure for ESY. Looking through that again, what we're looking at is 5 days per week, 27 total days for ESY. Oh, great, thanks, Teresa. And also, what we also want to share with everybody with the class groupings is that if you're not familiar with ESY, is that we do have an adjustment for our staff in the summertime. And so we wanted to update you as well as some of our staff change a little bit, but we have people who are familiar with HMS who are going to be coming into the building, and we had them in for training, and we're working on that this week and getting them ready as well. And this year's ESY is different, like everything else with COVID. We were responding to that, and we have been, meticulously planning ESY with the goal again to get all the students who want to be back in the building back, but to still be mindful of where we are with COVID and make sure that we're taking precautions and being safe in that. So we looking at social distancing, staffing, and space. Those are things we're talking about all the time. So again, what's different is we are splitting the day into the idea of going with a period structure, which we don't always typically do, and the idea of doing AM and PM classes. The reason for this has been about space. We're going to utilize all of the spaces at HMS. I'm very happy to report that the air exchange that we've been talking about is fully installed. And what that means is now that every aspect of the building gets fresh air every 6 minutes. That's been a project that we've been working on really for the last year. It's now up and running. And therefore that allows us to use more of our building. And so that was part of the thinking, was to do really a very comprehensive look at the building and use all parts of it. And that AM PM split that we're going to be doing is going to make sure that we don't have an overabundance of students in any one classroom at any one time. It lets us really fully utilize the building in a way that we never have before, in the sense of thinking about space, social distancing being so important. We're having 2 lunch periods, which is also different than what we did before. Again, that's about space as well, making sure we have enough staff to fully to make sure we have feeders and things like that. So that's a change from what we've just experienced. And you start to see, if you look through this already, you're going to see rec and expressive arts in here quite a lot. We're really relying on that. I won't go through this. It's a lot of material that's here. Your individual schedules have gone home. But again, this is the idea of, we've gone through and we've looked at each and every space from a staff perspective, student perspective, and really planned out the day very meticulously to make sure that we're taking all things into account. The number one goal being to get a full program up and running. So again, so basically, again, this is just the idea of just give you a sense of a sample schedule of what it looks like. Again, each one of you should have received this, for your child. We want to make sure that you all got that. And again, just the idea, give you a sense of what those individual schedules look like, and the sense of planning. Not go into that in detail, but again, basic idea. Each class has an AM group and a PM group. Again, that keeps down the overall numbers that are there. Utilizing 2 dedicated spaces, again, so we're aware of the same things we've been looking at over the last 18 months about spacing and social distancing. And the idea of making sure that rec and expressive arts, it really is a key part of this. Because again, if you're not new to ESY, or even if you are, we have kind of a dual goal with ESY. One is, again, it's an extended school year. We want to make sure students are getting services, particularly the fact that we can be so in person now, is that we can start, providing things that we haven't been able to provide due to COVID, but also it's summertime. So when we think about ESY, we also think about what is it that can be extra engaging, and how do we make it different? Because you're going to experience this next week. Tuesday is the last day of the school year. Wednesday is the first day of ESY. And what is different in that is, again, it's going to be a fuller building, a different schedule in place, but we also want to have a sense of summer. So that's where rec is going to be a huge part of this, is that we want kids to have fun as well as providing a safe environment that's there. I went kind of quickly. I know, Teresa, I know you're involved in scheduling, and I don't know if I glanced over anything too quickly on that, if you have anything to add.
There's a couple slides about therapies that might be particularly interesting to parents, as far as that's,
Get down to that, sorry.
Sure.
I talked about art. Let's go through that. There we go. Again, and again, this is the idea, and correct me if I'm wrong if I don't get this right, but I think what is for most of the therapies, what we're looking at is 2 individual sessions per week for each therapy plus a group session. Am I right about that?
Yes, every student will be scheduled for 2 individuals in both PT, OT, and speech, and each class group will get a group PT and a group OT during
Right.
the week.
And again, nursing is going to be a key part of that. Again, we're very aware that we're going to have a higher capacity in the building from nursing and also with one-to-one nurses. That's why our team has done such a strong amount of work in looking at building usage to make sure that we have the capacity for that. We do. And we are still, as Dr. Owen said, have that testing capacity in place should we need it, and still be using all the COVID protocols that have already been in place. Key component of that, if I could ask Christy and Laura to speak about this, about what communication is going to look like.
Certainly. So thank you all for your feedback on communication. We are going to continue exactly as we've been doing since hybrid began. For the Dunhams, who I know who were not with us this spring, we are sending an email every day that your child is in person with a write-up from the teacher and any therapist they saw that day. You'll get the email if there's questions, concerns, additional thoughts, just email us right back. We will continue to use BlueStep as our communication for medical information, regarding personal care, food, lunch, feeding, etc., medication. And so that platform is still available to us. And if you have questions or are not registered with BlueStep or there's any glitches in it, just give us a call and we'll get you set up again.
Great. Because I skipped over, I'm sorry, I don't want to give everybody motion sickness, but again, the idea of REC and how important this is that one of the things that I'm excited about, Holly Yoakley, who's been a teaching assistant with us for a number of years, is now transitioning into our theater specialist as a dedicated member of staff to add to our expressive arts team. And as you can see, we're going to be providing those experiences, dance in the building, art, PE. Rec's going to be a really important part of the summer. Music is going to be back in a really specific way. And again, what we're looking at really kind of getting us back to what we're used to seeing in an environment with this. And again, I think the one change that we've looked a lot at is lunch. The logistical parts of school are still challenging when it comes to space. And so what we realized we needed to create is, again, a 2 lunch periods, if you will. So we'd have enough social distancing to do that. As part of that, we are going to provide an enrichment activity each day where students will be socially distanced, and there'll be a chance for them to have some time in the assembly room area where they're going to, a different staff member, many days it may be me, is going to be leading them in an enrichment activity, again, while being very aware of what the capacity is in those rooms being safe. When it comes to social distancing, I'm sorry I say that so often, but it's on my mind a lot because it is something that we're going to be constantly vigilant about how the best way to use our space, but at the same time creating the full experience that we're going to be able to do by being back full time like this, again, with those 2 different lunch periods. And again, that very idea of that split schedule being what's different. And I hope that was clear when it all came home. I'm going to stop my share now and go back to this. And the only question I've got is, yes, art is something that we're looking at bringing back. The one change with that is that we are mindful of space use, is that we're going to be having a lot of our rec therapists are going to be moving from space to space oftentimes. Art and music are going to be using their equipment on carts because we've repurposed a lot of our rooms. A lot of what we've had to think about is how to not have our staff have ownership over rooms, because rooms have to have multiple purposes in order to make sure that we keep the numbers correct in each room, again, for those protocol pieces. But yes, art will absolutely be back.
And I'm going to jump in about art just to say washable paints only.
That's right.
So for families to take that worry off their mind, Aiko and I have come to a resolution. So there will be art and it will be beautiful, but it will be washable.
Great. Is there any, if I went through that, I know very quickly on purpose. I know that those emails did come home yesterday. I hope you had a chance to look at that. But I don't want to rush through anything. If there's anything either from any of the staff members that I may have glossed over or any questions from parents, we're happy to use the time to address those. Great. Again, I'll prattle on for a moment or two to give some time if there's questions. But I think the big message that we've got is that we've been looking toward this day for a long time. Next Wednesday is a day I'm really excited about. Next question. Yes, Fridays are full days. I think Fridays used to be shorter days, right, Chris? You're muted, Chris.
We used to be early dismissals on Fridays, but
I think she's.
but for ESY, it was always a 9 to 3 day. I'm lying. Regular school year, early dismissal. Friday is 9 to 3, full day.
Full day, right. And like I said, I think part of what hopefully was clear when you got the schedules that came home is that this is a change, and I think we've had to get used to a lot of different changes that have come up in response to things over the last year and a half. But this is something that, again, that a real core group of people have been working very hard on, really over the last 6 months, about how it is we can get students back in the building at this level. I'm very confident we can do that. We're doing it responsibly. We're doing it safely. And all of us kind of can't wait, actually, to really see everybody. It's been a long time. And so, next week's something that we're all excited for. Getting to the PCA, I think were PCA assignments sent home already, or are they different?
I believe they stay the same for ESY 1, and they will be changing in ESY 2, which I realize is that's like an HMS piece. So around it's July 13th, when the residence closes, there is some staff shifting. So I will make sure that PCA assignments go out before that so that people know how that's shifted. That's a very good question. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Yeah, no, we can't wait to see everybody back. I can't wait to stop talking to a computer screen. Well, great. I haven't learned yet about wait time on Zoom. Teresa, I know you were reading some things about that and the things that I don't want to cut anybody off too soon, but I'm also a big proponent of shorter meetings. And I hope that, I can say this and we can record it too, so everybody can see it if they want to watch later, is that we wanted to do this tonight just to give everybody a forum and a chance, but I hope that everyone understands that our goal is always to be accessible to all of you for any concerns that you have. Doesn't have to be on this Zoom call. Something occurs to you, second we're done, please reach out via email or phone call. Let us know what your concerns are. We've genuinely done everything we can to be as responsive as we can, and we're going to continue to do that because the all-stars of our building are coming back, and those are your kids. And to have them in the building is really what it's all about, and that's why I think all of us are just so excited about it. So if there's any concerns that you've got as we get between now and next week, or obviously as things are happening next week, please reach out and let us know what they are, and we'll get back to you. And one of the things I've said to staff, because this is different, we know it's not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to need adjustments. We're going to need feedback. And you're a huge piece of that. So please let us know if you've got concerns, if things are not working, or if you want to tell us things are great, that's good too. But really the communication piece doesn't end at any point in time. Great, Laura. Yeah, please do. And let me know if there's any assistance you need with any of those questions that come up. But I know Joan can handle those.